Hi, you guys. Today's video is about Alec Baldwin, a quick update on the Rust case, and also another lawsuit for him that was so strange that I'm going to take you through. Anyway, if you like my channel, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. I really appreciate it. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so what happened was a young man who was 20 years old was helping get evacuees out of Afghanistan when, of course, we suddenly pulled out. And it created like mayhem, and there was a bombing at the airport, and 13 American soldiers were killed in the line of duty trying to get people out of Afghanistan safely. Alec Baldwin heard about this, and this young man who was only 20 had a wife and a baby, and so she was immediately widowed with a young child, and Alec felt really bad for her and her family, and he gave her $5,000 to try to help with the fallen soldier, give some peace to the family, which was very generous and lovely that he did. However, in Alec Baldwin form, he kind of undid the good deed that he did by doing something. So the way that Alec Baldwin paid this $5,000 was to the fallen soldier's sister, whose name was Royce. And what happened was on January 6th of 2021, she posted on her Instagram a picture of her at a Washington monument. And she was just, I guess, there, but Alec Baldwin thought she was part of the insurrection that happened at the Capitol. Now it gets really strange. Okay, so Royce posts a picture of her at a Washington monument that she took on January 6, 2021. She posted the image on January 1st, I guess, of 2022, ahead of the 1-year anniversary of the invasion of the U.S. Capitol. She had attended a demonstration in support of President Donald Trump, but was not involved in the riots and was never accused of any crime during the insurrection. And she did claim that she was investigated by the FBI and that they didn't find anything. Okay, so this comes out later. But anyway, Alec Baldwin made the leap that she had participated in the insurrection and suddenly regretted his donation to the fallen soldier. Here's the social media discussion that happened between him and Rice, the sister of the fallen soldier. Are you the same woman I sent the dollars for your sister's husband who was killed during the Afghanistan exit? When I sent the dollars for your late brother, out of real respect for his service to this country, I didn't know you were a January 6th rioter. So we now know, he must have been, I guess, looking at the date the photo was taken, and he jumped to conclusions. Anyway, she pushed back and she said, we have a right to a freedom of speech, and we've been interviewed by the FBI, and protesting is legal. But I guess she must have said to him, I'm not in the insurrection. I don't know. They weren't clear on that point. Anyway, he said, your activities resulted in the unlawful destruction of government property, the death of law enforcement officer, an assault on the certification of the presidential election. I reposted your photo. Good luck. Okay, and then he posted Royce's photo on his Instagram account, which he had 2.4 million followers at the time. And she suddenly got berated with threats to her physicality and, people coming for her and dragging her. And okay, now she was not a public figure or an influencer. She was just the sister of a fallen soldier that Alec Baldwin had given a donation to. So I don't know what possessed Alec Baldwin to not get that he has 2.5 million followers that are pretty much his fans that will do whatever he wants them to do. And why he would not have accurate information and choose to punish someone. Things like get raped and die, worthless, see you next Tuesday with a kiss emoji. Your brother got what he deserved. Right. So, the question obviously becomes, like, is there a responsibility for a public figure, knowing they have the influence that they do, in being really conscious of what they do on their social media? And, you know, even though you can be drunk with power, that you have 40 million followers, or in his case, 2.4 million, and you're like, oh, I could ruin this person, and you have a temper, you need to restrain that temper. What is beyond me is that Alec Baldwin didn't make the connection that it would be the same thing as him standing in a stadium and pointing to a woman who he didn't like for whatever reason, like strong reason, like total lunatic, right? Can't stand, like awful person. But it's still the same as standing in a stadium and screaming, hurt her, kill her, go get her. I mean, that's what it is. It's just digital. So there is just, it's beyond me that people haven't made that connection. And anyway, it turned out the woman wasn't a part of the insurrection. She was at a protest, and she was, you know, that was her thing, whatever. But her brother gave his life. It doesn't change that. He gave his life for his country. Like, what is happening? What is happening? Anyway, now they're suing him for defamation for $25 million. And the reason that they're able to sue him for $25 million for defamation is, number one, you know, he sort of made allegations that weren't true to a huge population of people. But in addition to that, he did it with bad intentions. Meaning it would appear from the way that his wording, that his intention was to throw her to a mob of people and have them come for her, right? So it wasn't to make like a harmless statement, like I gave this woman money and I'm happy I did it for that, but I don't approve of her. I want to be clear that I don't approve of her later protest, that happened on January 6th. I mean her no harm, but I want to make it clear that that was not my intention in supporting her, which is my right because I did this action. And I want to be clear that, you know, I supported this, but I don't support that. And I don't wish her any ill will, but I want to get that word out. That would have been different, right? He could have still accomplished what I think was what he was worried about, which is somehow being tied to supporting this woman in her other endeavors because he made a donation. But that is not the way that this went down. So it's unfortunate. So now let's continue with the Rust case and what's going on with that. I think you guys wanted an update on that. So I just want to say my aunt made me blueberry muffins for breakfast. Is she so cute? Homemade. Oh, look, she put a little thing on it. So cute. Okay. All right. Sorry. All right. So let me update you on Rust now. Sorry. Here's the cliff notes. There's multiple lawsuits against Alec Baldwin at the moment in a criminal investigation. So one of the people who's suing Alec Baldwin is the script supervisor who was in close range when the gun was fired, and she suffered, obviously, emotional damage as well as, like, I guess, a ringing in her ears because she wasn't expecting it. She didn't have protective gear on for a gunshot, and it caused maybe some damage to her hearing, she alleges. Now, he's trying to get the case dismissed on the basis that New Mexico's workers' comp, which is a film-friendly state, they have lots of incentive programs and tax incentives to film in New Mexico, that their workers' comp package that they offered should have covered any issues with her ears, and you can't double collect, in other words. So you can't, like, go get your workers' comp from New Mexico and then go to Alec Baldwin. And the script supervisor lady, her allegations were of assault, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and deliberate infliction of harm. And she also was suing Hannah Reed, Gutierrez Reed, the armorer who loaded the gun, and David Halls, the first assistant director who handed the gun to Baldwin and said it was a cold gun, among other crew members. And they haven't responded to the suit yet. So Baldwin's response basically was like, none of this was intentional. Nobody saw this coming. And, it was all accidental. And so, and we can't even see any proof of your physical injury with your ears, I guess. And so they're kind of implying that she's just like trying to milk the situation and get paid. And or she's suing the wrong people. But I suppose it could be argued, although I don't know if her camp is doing that because Alec Baldwin was a producer and these people had a responsibility in their job titles to do their job safely, that this infliction that she experienced could have been based on negligence, and therefore, although unintentional, was harmful anyway. And she might have concerns that New Mexico's workers' comp won't cover this particular scenario, so she's making sure she's covered.
Possibility. On Thursday, October 21st,
This
2021,
is the script supervisor
I got up
talking.
early and drove to Bonanza Creek Ranch for a 6:30 a.m. call. When I got there, I was told that the camera crew and both of the second ACs and camera utility had quit because of safety issues and other issues related to their working conditions.
Yeah, bad sign.
That morning, we shot scene 115 in the church with Alec, and then we blocked and rehearsed scene 118. We did 3 camera setups for scene 118 and broke for lunch. The camera setups to complete the scene in the afternoon were discussed between Joel, Helena, and me. I was sitting at a table.
Wow. She's crying.
Doing my lunch report, and Helena walked by and flashed her gorgeous smile at me. I'm never going to forget that.
Aww.
She was a great collaborator on the set and my new friend.
This woman, when she did the 911 call, the Rust 911 call, I think I posted it in the Patreon. I'm pretty sure if you search Rust, you'll see it in the Patreon. She was pissed when she first, was talking. I don't think she knew that Helena was dead yet. And she's pissed. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that insight.
She was pure light. She just had beautiful energy. After lunch, I went inside the church with members of the crew to get ready for the camera setup that we had discussed before lunch. I saw Alec going through his movement with the gun for the camera. I was holding my script in my left hand and had taken out my iPhone and opened up my photos to check the continuity on his shirt and vest. Then an explosion. Deafening, loud gunshot. I was stunned. I heard somewhere around and my director was falling backwards and holding his upper body. And I turned around toward Alec and I saw Helena going down to the left of me.
As far as the criminal investigation is concerned, we'll jump over there now. Alec Baldwin did hand in his cell phone to the Long Island police. It was a month after the authorities secured a warrant. And they basically, I guess the reason he needed to wait is he had to extract data off his phone, maybe like celebrity contacts and stuff like that. I would imagine that's probably what they argued that they needed to do. And then he handed the phone over to them. Although I thought that was really strange because most attorneys will tell you, especially in a criminal investigation, don't touch your phone. Like literally hand it in, because otherwise they could say you tampered with evidence, or it, like if you need to rely on something in the phone, that it could like work against you. So it can work for you or against you, because they could say, well, we're not sure that evidence has not been tampered with. Alec Baldwin's phone, there's 2 parts of it that won't be able to be looked at. One is that any interaction he had with Hilaria, because it's privileged because they're spouses, and also anything that he said to his attorney about what happened on the set, that's privileged. So everything else, is, I guess, up for grabs, but that stuff. So I don't know if they allowed him to extract that part before, or delete that part before they handed over the phone, or how that would work. But it's definitely interesting. He did hold on to the phone for a lot longer than what was requested by the police or law enforcement, which I guess makes everybody kind of speculate why that might be. Said any suggestion that I'm not complying with requests or orders or search warrants about my phone, that's bullshit. That's a lie. And he said, any suggestion that I'm not complying with requests or orders or search warrants about my phone, that's bullshit. That's a lie. It's a process that takes time. They have to specify what exactly they want. They just can't go through your phone and take, your photos of your love letters to your wife or whatever. But of course, we are 1000% going to comply with all of that. We're perfectly fine with that. Yeah. Okay. Right. So more to come on that. Serge Svetnoy, who's the gaffer that's suing Alec Baldwin, he kind of started his case in October of 2021. And I haven't seen a real update on his case, so it's probably just the court system being really slow. But he's also, suing Alec and hasn't been anything updating on that yet. Let's see, who else is suing Alec Baldwin? And just the other day, Helena Hutchinson, who was the cinematographer who was killed, is beginning the process of filing a wrongful death lawsuit against Alec Baldwin. And in fact, she had a lawyer go into court in New Mexico and ask to represent her estate in a wrongful death case that they want to take against Alec Baldwin. So it's coming. Helena's estate also has a LA law firm. So they have two, one in New Mexico and one in LA, probably because there's multiple jurisdictions, and so it's the best way to do it. Anyway, the legal document says the petitioner seeks appointment as personal representative pursuant to the Wrongful Death Act for the purpose of investigating and potentially filing and litigating a wrongful death lawsuit. There is no relation in this petition to any potentially existing testamentary instrument executed by decedent. It goes on. Helena Hutchins has two surviving immediate family members, her husband, Matthew Hutchins, and their minor son, Aldous Hutchins, both of whom support this petition. Petitioner provided Matthew Hutchins and Aldous Hutchins with a copy of the petition before filing it with the court. So, that's it. So now another lawsuit is coming for Alec Baldwin, a wrongful death lawsuit. So George Clooney also chimed in. I don't know if you guys heard this.
Ross, the Hollywood star believes the buck stops with the first assistant director. Look, he may be a I don't know the guy at all, but I've been on sets for 40 years, and the person that hands you the gun, the person that is responsible for the gun, is either the prop person or the armor. Period. Every single time I'm handed a gun on a set, every time, Mark, they hand me a gun. I look at it, I open it. I show it to the person I'm pointing it to. We show it to the crew. Every single take. You hand it back to the armor when you're done. You do it again.
Right. So that's a little update. So what do you guys think? I mean, should these crew members be suing Alec Baldwin in the production along with, this traditional workers' comp insurance? Or should they just be focusing on the workers' comp insurance? Obviously there's quite a lot of different people who were negligent in this domino effect. Is it fair to, aim all of the punishment on Alec? Is it the armorer's fault whose job it is to make sure there's no live ammunition on the set and that the gun is safe? Is it the AD's fault for not checking the gun and saying it was a cold gun without looking? Is it Alec Baldwin's fault for not following actor industry protocols of checking the gun and showing the person in front of you that the gun is empty before you point it and pull the trigger? Now, he's saying he didn't pull the trigger, which is weird. I'd love your thoughts this far into the game. Everyone is still a suspect per the prosecution in New Mexico that's doing the criminal investigation. And this is going to be a long road. So I do think it's good to do these little Cliff Note videos every now and again with new commentary or testimony that comes out. And so we can kind of keep track of it. It is an important true crime or just accidental death case to follow because it's going to impact the entertainment industry for a long time. And the results and the precedents set in these court cases is going to really change the way things are done on set. So I'm really interested in it because I've been in the entertainment industry for years, and I myself have worked on many, many films. So I'm like, I want to know what's going to happen. Yeah. And I don't really want to share my view because I don't want to corrupt yours, but I think there was some negligence here. And in fact, the negligence that I see, that I think, my own opinion, is present in this is kind of unbelievable to me. And it makes me think, like, there is a part of me that wonders if there isn't something sinister happening here. Like, how did this live ammunition get on this set? Now, I just don't totally buy that it was leftover ammunition that got mixed up from one movie set to another. I mean, that's what I guess is the what everyone's saying now occurred, and that's, you know, but I mean, that's so beyond me that would be allowed to happen. Like, it sounds like there's almost a sinister undertone to it, you know? Could it be that someone was trying to set someone up on that set? Because it's really hard for me to imagine that the armorer made a mistake, the AD made a mistake, Alec Baldwin made a mistake, the person who gave the armorer the ammunition made a mistake. It's like a lot of mistakes in, you know, where you're, you know, not typically mistakes like are found. So it's just strange to me that this happened. I mean, I'm sure the police are looking into absolutely everything, but I mean, I do find that, like, as hard to believe that there was a sinister act here, right, is me believing that all these people made these many mistakes. Like, it's as absurd, right? Really, you know? It's like, they're both so crazy, like, that 6 people made a mistake and that, you know, somebody like intentionally planted this stuff on the set to screw someone's life up. I don't know. Anyway, can't wait to read your comments. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so people see my videos. Thanks so much, you guys. It's like crazy blizzard. Crazy. Okay? I don't know. How am I dealing with like 2 feet of snow?